Hey, a new place every day.
Getting to be quite fun on it. You remember where we were? 'Cause I'm having a hard time keeping track these days.
Oh, yes. We left off at they did not do many miracles because of their unbelief. At that time, Herod, the district ruler, had a report about Yeshua. He said to his servants, "This is Yohanan the Immerser. He has risen from the dead. That is why these mighty powers are at work in him." For Herod had arrested Yohanan, bound him, and put him in prison because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For Yohanan had said to him, "It is not right for you to have her." Wishing to kill him, he feared the crowd because they held him as a prophet. But Herod's birthday was being held. The daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. So he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked, any drunkard would, right? And she, being urged on by her mother, said, "Give me here the head of Yohanan the Immerser on a platter." The sovereign was sad, but because of the oaths and the guests, he commanded it to be given. Sent and beheaded Yohanan in prison. His head was brought on a dish and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. The taught ones came and took away the body and buried it, and went and reported to Yeshua. Now when Yeshua heard it, he withdrew from there by boat to a deserted place by himself, mourning, obviously. When the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. When Yeshua came out, he saw a large crowd and was moved with compassion for them. He healed their sick. When evening came, his taught ones came to him saying, there's a lot of things that aren't being said here. When you're as debauched as Egypt in the land of Israel, and a ruler gives a word, he's to perform it. It's crazy. Just the madness, the level of madness that I have just gone through. But Yeshua goes away because he wants to be alone. He's like, wow, my cousin, he's no more. And he himself being a prophet, that's got to hurt, the prophets are always murdered by their own. And here Yeshua, he sees it coming, and he sees what's happening, and he's like, man, good and faithful steward. And then these people come to him in the desolate place, and they're not just coming saying, give me something. No, they were moved by the destruction of Yohanan. They were mourning, and they were seeking after Yeshua, and that's why it says, and he saw them, and having compassion, he healed their sick. He was, he was human, and he was feeling, sorry for his relative and brother, really, and being moved within himself that he knows this is his fate as well, and so he's reflecting on that and praying over it, of course. And then he sees these people coming to him going, hey, they've killed Yohanan, and he already knows this, of course. And they're weeping and mourning and wailing and all of this. And yeah, he's moved with compassion here. There's so much not being said. There are words written, But you have to be able to read between these lines to understand what's really going on here. You know, Yohanan died for righteousness' sake. He died for a just cause. You know, he told he spoke truth to power. This should not be so. Why are you taking your brother's wife? This is debauchery. This is wrong. And he went to prison for it, and then he was executed for it. And here's the thing, you don't think that, the debauchery wasn't so bad that Herod didn't lust after his brother's wife's daughter. I mean, that's what the whole dancing bit was about. He was provoked by his lust to give her half of what of everything he owned. That's how debauched these people are. They're a disgusting lot. And here he is promising her half the kingdom because her dancing, her pole dancing, gave him a hard-on. Sorry for the colloque. This is disgusting. And a righteous man was beheaded over this level of debauchery. This is how screwed up the society is. And this is 2,000 years before today. You can imagine just how debauched we were just at the founding of this country. Not to mention now how far down that rat hole we've all been sucked. Every righteous man is being sucked down into a rat hole of total desolation. And should it be any different for the witness today? Particularly the one who holds to the testimony of Yeshua and keeps the commandments. There's a lot that just went on here, and here I'm just breezing over it. Not allowing for digestion and to read between the lines and do the forensics. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody's contemplating this. Not that I see. When evening came, his taught ones came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Dismiss the crowds, so that they might go into the villages to buy food for themselves." But Yeshua said to them, "They do not need to go away. Give them to eat yourselves." They said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Okay? 5 loaves of bread. And he said, "Bring them here to me," commanding the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to his taught ones. The taught ones gave to the crowds, and all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the pieces left over, 12 baskets filled. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And immediately Yeshua made his taught ones enter into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. Having dismissed the crowds, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. When evening had come, he was alone there, and the boat was now in the middle of the sea, agitated by the waves, for the wind was against it. And in the 4th watch of the night, Yeshua went to them walking on the sea. When the taught ones saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a phantom!" And from fear they cried. But immediately Yeshua spoke to them, saying, "Take courage! It is I. Do not be afraid." Kepha answered him and said, "Master, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." When Kepha had come out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Yeshua. But he saw the wind was strong, and he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Master, save me!" Immediately Yeshua stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, "O you of little belief, why did you doubt?" When he came into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat came and did bow to him, saying, Truly, you are the Son of Elohim. Having passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret. When the men of that place recognized him, they sent him into all that surrounding country, and brought to him all that were sick, and begged him to let them only touch the seat of his garment, and as many as touched it were completely healed. Came with healing in his wings. We discussed this already. And think about it. I mean, how would you like to walk on the water? If the sun can set you free from the laws of physics and help you to walk on water, what does it take but a little belief? Why did Peter freeze? You know, he choked. Got out on the water, was walking with Messiah. He had the electricity of life. Did he doubt himself? Because the power wasn't his. Was he really afraid of the wind and the waves? Or was it something else? You can see here that, you know, Peter is one who likes to be seen by men as being, you know, a wise guy. A wise guy. And what's really going on here? Anyway, then there came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem, saying, Why do your taught ones transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. He answering to them said, Why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim because of your tradition? This is a Torah principle. These guys were adding to the Torah. You know, there's a little tradition of washing one's hands. It's not just simply rubbing soap on your hands. It's a ceremonial. What do you call it? Ritual. Thank you. The R. Ritual. It's a ritual, and it's a ritual hand washing. You know, you got to get the unclean spirits off your hands. You know, because unclean spirits tend to sit on your hands all day. Anyway, and he's saying, don't be ridiculous. Nowhere in here does it say that I command you to wash your hands. Now, you can kind of twist the 21st chapter of the Psalms to plead that case, but that's Psalms. That's not the Torah. For Elohim commanded, saying, Respect your father and your mother. That's Exodus 20:12 and Deuteronomy 5:16. And he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. That's Exodus 21:17 and Leviticus 29. But you say, whoever says to his father or mother, what profit you might receive from me has been dedicated. It is certainly released from respecting his father or mother. So you have nullified the command of Elohim by your tradition. Korban. It's a gift. It's a gift to the priests and to the temple. How can I help you, Mom and Dad? No, I'm required to give to the priests, and so I'm requited of your petition. Hypocrites! Here we are again. The H word. Hypocrites! Yeshayahu rightly prophesied about you, saying, this people draw near to me with their mouth, and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. That's Yeshayahu. And how many of us can say that against both Jew and Christian? By your traditions, you nullify the word of God. That by Elohim. And that by your traditions, you have made null the commandment of Elohim. Now, how many can you call up on the carpet today and say, hey, you want your heart, not your offerings? You know, how many of you can point at yourself and say, this people draw near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but their heart is far from me? How many of you would point to yourself and see the hypocrisy in our own hearts? Or do we continue to deceive ourselves, saying, I am righteous? Calling the crowd near, he said to them, hear and understand, not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, this defiles the man. Then his taught ones came and said to him, do you know that the Pharisees stumbled when they heard this word? But answering, he said, every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be uprooted. Leave them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind leads the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. He answering said to him, explain this parable to us. And Yeshua said, are you also still without understanding? See, now he's starting to get frustrated. How long have I been with you and explained this stuff to you very clearly, and yet you still don't see what I'm saying? How many of us can he say that to today? Do you not understand that whatever enters into the mouth goes into the stomach and is cast out into the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and these defile the man. For out of the heart comes forth wicked reasonings, murders, adulteries, whorings, thefts, false witnessing, slanders. These defile the man, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile the man. Yeshua went out from there and withdrew to parts of Sor and Sidon. And see, that last part was so self-explanatory, yet we don't see it. Yeshua, see, a woman from Canaan came from those borders and cried out to him, saying, have compassion on me, O Master, son of David. My daughter is badly demon-possessed. I wonder why. He did not answer her a word, and his taught ones came and asked him, saying, send her away, because she cries after us. And he, answering, said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and was bowing to him, saying, Master, please help me. And he, answering, said, it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. So he's making a distinction here. Not everybody is of Israel. Not everybody is natural born. But then again, not everybody needs to be natural born. If they attach themselves to the God, the El of Israel, and not diminishing, attaching themselves to the people of Israel, as Ruth did with Naomi. Then your inheritance can be that much greater than the natural born. But that's a topic for another discussion. And he answering said, I was not sent. Oh, sorry. And he answering said, it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. She's calling her boy. But she said, yes, master, for even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. And Yeshua answering, saying to her, O woman, your belief is great. Let it be to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that hour. And moving from there, Yeshua came toward the sea. Look, this is about faith. And everybody gets a little bit of it. And from what I can read in the book of Matthew, the goy gets it better than the natural born. Because he only has to give them a word, and it's done. They understand authority. But what does the house of Israel do? Moving from there, Yeshua came toward the Sea of Galilee. And going up on the mountain, he was sitting there, and large crowds came to him, having with them those who were lame, blind, dumb, crippled, and many others. And they laid them down at the feet of Yeshua, and he healed them, so that the crowd marveled when they saw the dumb speaking, and the crippled well, and the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the Elohim of Israel. Yeshua, having called his taught ones near, said, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and do not have whatever to eat. And I do not wish to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And his taught ones said to him, Where do we get bread in the desert to satisfy such a large crowd? Yeshua said, having said to them, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7, and a few little fish. He commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground, and taking the 7 loaves and the fish, giving thanks, he broke them, and gave it to his taught ones, and the taught ones to the crowd. And all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up what was left over, broken pieces, 7 large baskets filled. And those who ate were 4,000 men, besides the women and children. And dismissing the crowd, he went into the boat and came to the borders of Magdala. Now notice, the previous chapter took 5 loaves, fed 5,000. And in this current chapter, it took 7 loaves, and it only fed 4,000. Is the miracle diminished? No, I think it has more to do with the fact that there were less people that day. But still, in it, there is a teaching. I'm going to end it there for now. I went through a lot, and there's still more to be said on this, but I'm going to have to get into the next chapter to flesh it out. And I'm ready to go home. Move on.